people. So far, we have been focusing on inner city people transportation, but as I said yesterday, we announced that we also move now to food delivery. So we are looking at the expanding ourselves, but yeah, we see still a lot of opportunities how to expand, and in longer term, we could integrate public transport, we could integrate car rental and so on. So longer term, you would need one app, and it will solve all your transportation needs. Finally, we're operating in very interesting and fast-growing space. Last September, we introduced electric scooters in Paris. We also run motorcycle taxis or three-wheelers like rickshaws or tuk-tuks in several African markets. So whenever some technology or service is suitable, we try to integrate that and make it more efficient. For example, the motorcycle taxis in Africa, there are huge amount of them. It's hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of drivers on the street. And how we do things differently, we try to make it 10 times better. So currently they don't have apps, they don't have helmets, they don't know about safety. So we do all these things, and we give even med kits for them, we give helmets and all of that. And we give them apps which makes them transparent so that people don't need to walk to the motor taxi standing at the cross of the street, but you can order them a few hundred meters to your house, and that makes it much more efficient both for the passenger and for the driver. And yeah, as I said, then we believe that future is electric, and the more electric transportation we can bring to the cities, the better. And this electric scooters is just as a start, and in the future, whenever you want to go, you set in the destination, and we offer you 3, 4, 5 different alternatives. They can be mixed with public transport, they can be mixed with a scooter and a car, or bike, whatever you need, that's going to be available. So that's how we see the future. And yeah, it is competitive market, but it's very big, lots of opportunities. So we believe that we can play a significant game in there as European player. So thank you, and let's have a discussion later on.
Much respect, Martin. That's what I call bang for the buck. So next up of Mondly is Alex Iliescu. Come on stage, man. Here we go.
Inspiring story. Thank you, Martin. Thank you, really great. My name is Alex, and I'm the CEO of Mondly, and I'm here today to tell you about how we change education. Thank you. From brush off, and how we use innovation to change education, and also to change our beautiful city. So, play your way to a new language. Okay. So first of all, who has heard of Mondly, please? Okay, great, that's good news. Thank you. Okay, 6 years ago, Mondly was just a dream. We started as really two brothers with an idea to create fun apps, to use fun to make education more easy and more accessible for people. So we looked at everything that was available on the market. We looked at the store, the app stores. We looked at the PC market, all kind of softwares and books, and we said, what can we do to improve this? We realized that one of the best language learning apps in the market, so this is an example, although we were not very we didn't have a lot of experience, we realized the best language learning app in the market was using computerized voices. So we said it's impossible for 200 million people to learn a language without hearing the native voice of a speaker, without hearing the melody of the language. So we decided to change that. And that's how we kind of got the idea to, that we can make something better than the best product on the market. So 3 people in an office, we said we're going to build the best language learning apps. That was 5 years ago. 5 years later, Mondly has been downloaded 40 million times. And as you will see later, we are doing quite a lot of fun innovations. How we did it, besides using native voices, we also developed a system to be able to teach 33 languages from 33 languages. So this allowed us to offer 1,000 courses in one app. As you can see here, most of European languages, a lot of Asian languages, yes, Africans even, Finnish, we pretty much cover the whole globe. We cover more than 100 countries with these languages. And you can learn 33 languages from Romanian, which is, I think, the biggest platform from Romania, for Romanians, actually. Okay, we launched Mondly on the App Store, we launched Mondly on the Android store, and in less than 2 years, we started to have millions of downloads. And then we started to look at how we can innovate and make language learning even more fun. And we developed the first chatbot for learning languages. What this chatbot does is it simulates a conversation in different settings. So it speaks to you, you speak back, there's speech recognition that recognizes what you're saying, you get corrections, and in the end, you kind of get to practice the language. We also developed a language learning app for kids, which I encourage you to check. But I'm going to speak now about something really exciting. So about 2 years ago, we saw, the advent of VR. We saw that this is becoming a very different medium. Everything is a lot more immersive. Who has tried VR, virtual reality? Okay. Well, I hope you liked it. For us, it was kind of a breakthrough to see how realistic everything looks and how you even get butterflies in your stomach or, when you're playing a game. So we said this will be great for simulating real life situations and to kind of put people in that, state of being a little bit nervous to speak to someone. We can simulate that and we can make language learning even, more fun and more effective. So I'm going to show you a video of how this works.
Hello. Nice to meet you. How are you?
How do you like it here? Here's your change.
Keep the change. Would you like a room with a view? Would you like some food?
A salad would like.
Please repeat.
I would like a salad, please.
Thank you. Did you like it? Huh? Isn't that cool? I'm actually happy to tell you that this week we are on the front page of the Oculus store. We did a major update with added more scenes and a new mode. So if you get the chance, try it. It's a featured app and it's featured by the guys in San Francisco. We're really proud of that. Okay, so after playing with this, we couldn't stop. We realized, hey, there's something new coming, and that is augmented reality. And again, I'm going to ask you, who has tried augmented reality on your phones? Yeah, pretty cool, huh? And we said, okay, if here you teleport someone in a country or in a different environment, with AR, as you know, you get the environment in your place, in your room. And I would be really happy to show you a demo. I'm going to try a demo, real-life demo, to show you how Mondly AR looks. I'm going to need a microphone, please. Thank you. No, not there, please. It's gonna break the immersion. Okay. We need sound. Oh.
With augmented reality, the technology which allows me to be part of your world by blending your real world with my virtual one. Let's learn about animals. First, I'll show you the king of the jungle.
Sorry.
That's right.
Okay, then I'll start it again. Thanks for your patience. Okay, cool. That's better.
Hello, human. Welcome to the Mondly AR experience. I'm here to help you learn a new language in a fun and interactive way. This is a new technology that combines voice and object recognition with augmented reality, the technology which allows me to be part of your world by blending your real world with my virtual one. Let's learn about animals.
Oh.
First, I'll show you the king. King of the jungle.
The distance, right? Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
This is a lion.
That's what demos are, but I think it's worth it. Let's. Okay.
In Spanish, to say a lion, you say
Oh.
Un león,
a lion.
un león.
Did you see that? I can magically make things appear. You can also do some cool tricks. Just tap on the animals and see what happens.
Okay.
Un león,
So we can explore and learn words. We can actually.
un león, un león.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, look. This is a chicken. If you want to say a chicken, you say
Un pollo,
a chicken.
un pollo.
I bet you didn't know that the chicken is the closest living relative to the T-Rex. Oh, don't be shy. You can look at the animals by walking closer to them, and you can also move around them. Isn't that cool?
Okay, it is cool.
Okay, let's see what's next. Oh, how cute. A cat. In Spanish, a cat.
So
It's
now you will
called
see
Un gato,
we get to
A
speak
cat.
un gato.
and try pronouncing.
This is going great. Now, could you repeat after me?
Un gato,
Okay. Un gato.
That's correct. Good pronunciation.
Thank you.
Let's see. If you want to say the cat is small, you say
El gato es pequeño.
the cat is small.
El gato es pequeño.
Okay, now take a deep breath, because I'll show you the world's largest land animal. Wow, look at it. It is massive. This is an elephant. To say an elephant, you say
Un elefante.
an elephant.
Un elefante.
It's a baby elephant.
Repeat after
actually.
me.
Un elefante.
Un elefante.
Nice. You are good at this.
Okay.
If you want
thanks.
to say the elephant is big, you say
Cool. I hope you liked it. Thank you. Thank you. So with this launch, we partnered with Google. Actually, we did all the work, and we offered Mondly AR when Google launched their AR core software about a year ago. And we were featured by Apple and Google, and we also received an App of the Year award from Facebook in last year. Yeah, thank you. And this is pretty cool, and we think that technology, like all this visual stuff like AR, VR, is really going to change the way we experience life, the way we learn. And on the other side, all this AI that learns how to interact with you, or it learns your intentions and allows you to have these interactions. I think if you match this AI with the visual part of AR and VR, you get a really great experience. So I hope you like this. I know it looks like a game. I know it looks like something that's fun but a bit superficial. But I want to tell you this actually really works, and it has really good numbers behind it. And we are using all our revenues and all our growth to impact not just the world but also our society, our city. And I want to show you an action or a contribution that we had, that our team had in Transylvania University. If you can play the last video, please. So this is something that has become really important to us. It's a surprise for me because 5 years ago we didn't think that we would do something like this, or that we even would care about more than our team. Basically what we thought was we had success by developing on the latest tools. We learned from the best guys. We just read all the biographies, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and so on. And we realized there's a lot of talent in our city, well, in the whole country, who may not be exposed to this, who may not have the chance to work on the best tools or to get this, to find out about these examples. And we realized we want to do something about it. We want to, grow with our community. And finally, we got to this solution that the best way to impact our society would be to bring these new computers into the university, and also to start offering courses, programming courses for iOS or for Android, something that is was not being offered at the time. Yeah, we see a great reception from the students. I mean, I really think our country can do a lot more than just services or just programming. I think we can create products that are successful, that can be one of the best products in the world. And for this, I think we just need to kind of take care of the whole ecosystem, not just the programmers. I think, you know, the next is, you know, try to create good designers, like to educate good designers, good marketers, good copywriters, like everything that's needed to create a full product should be invested in. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I know we're going to keep investing in education and also keep looking at everything that's happening in technology. And I do have a feeling that we are on a great path, us and the whole country, and I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen. And I hope it gives you something to think about and how you can contribute and impact the society. Thank you. Thank you.
I think you can stay right up. There's a moderation now by co-founder of EA, Jeff Burton. Please come to the stage. And Martin, you as well.
Hi, Jeff.
Jeff, the stage is all yours.
Oh, may I use that? Yeah, of course. Good morning. I'm really delighted to see these two superstars. And part of the reason is that, you know, in their ways, we started Electronic Arts 32 years ago, and what we wanted to do was change the world, at least the world of gaming, and I think we did that. These guys are endeavoring to also change the world in their own ways. And that's one of the questions I get a lot of times from people is that, you know, people, startup entrepreneurs, founders are always looking to make a lot of money, and they aren't looking out for, they aren't thinking about the rest of the world, the have-nots of the world, and so I think it's a great tribute to these guys that they are really paying attention to what very large segments of the world don't have access to. Transportation on the one hand, language education on the other, and much broader education in the future, I'm sure. So I think they're doing just a fantastic job. And I also want to thank all of the city of Cluj. I really loved the mayor's example of, or kind of, what do you call it, a phrase that he used in English, which I thought was great, which was Cluj, the city of inclusion. And I think that's a great trademark for the city. But anyway, I wanted to, we don't have a whole lot of time left here, but I thought, would you guys be willing to take some questions from the audience? Because you covered a lot of topics. I guess one thing I'd like to ask is I hope, but I also kind of know better, at this stage, are both of your companies making profits?
Well, yeah, I'm actually,
you're on.
thank you. Yeah, we are profitable.
You are?
Yes.
Okay. All right, Martin.
We have made profits on some years, but currently we have decided to invest more heavily. As you saw, it's a tough market and tough industry. So yeah, currently we are investing smartly. So if we want, we can build our budget in a way that we can turn it break even. But we currently do it by purpose to invest more.
Well, it seems to me that it's also part of the testimony to you guys that you don't, you have not seemed to be in the business. You didn't start your companies in order to get rich. You started your companies in order to do something that changes the world in a profound way, and I think that's really cool. Do we have somebody that can take an audience question with a microphone? Bogdan, you can? Okay, does anybody have a question for these guys?
Well, I wanted to get rich too, just correction.
Well, yeah, it's always in the back of your mind, but you know, at Electronic Arts, we didn't have that as a major objective. We wanted to create a relationship between humans and computers, and do so
that's the main
through
driver.
Gaming. Okay, question, yes, sir.
Sure. Thank you very much for the presentations. My name is Anandu Gergel. I'm studying. I would like to ask you, Mr. Vilek, a question regarding your strategy, perhaps. How do you plan to deal with the regulatory challenges we all know Uber, Lyft, and the others have faced? What do you want to do different, and how do you want to tackle this challenge?
Yes, transportation is a heavily regulated market, and most of the current regulations comes of tens of years back when the technology we use today was not there. So the most of the regulation was built to protect passengers early on, and of course it is a lot of work currently to convince the policymakers that actually technology can benefit so much to make the service more efficient, more transparent, more, I don't know, even easier to use. For example, I don't know, we currently have majority of payments are electronic, so you sit in the car, you go out, you say thank you, and it's done. So you don't have to pay in cash, wait for change, or wait until the taxi driver tries to boot up the card processing machine, and then always they say that it's not working today. So these kind of things are something that we want to show and we need to show. But again, it's a challenge. So which way to go? Should we not launch our service and convince politicians and try to think that they are visionary enough to change the laws before? Or should we launch the service, show it works fine, there is no incidents, we have a high level of quality, and then during that process try to convince them that, okay, let's modernize the laws now to regulate the service that is already in the cities operating, to make that work nicely within the legal frame. So those are the questions we have to deal every day. And but our approach may be different from the others, is we try to be really proactive, and we understand that Europe has 27 markets, 27 legislations. Transport is regulated mostly on city or national level, and yeah, we really want to work it out in cooperation with the city governments and the policymakers as well, so that they would actually understand what's the long-term goal, who benefits it. So we always say that we should look at the whole regulation from the passenger point of view, not that much the taxi driver or even the taxi company owner's point of view, because they don't want to change. But passengers, they understand the difference and they want the change. So if policymakers finally understand that whom is the regulation targeted to, it's actually the passenger. So if we look at from that standpoint, things change a lot, and then we can have an open debate and figure out the best ways.
And I can add, this without claiming any relationship between the two. It turns out that one of the big investors in Bolt was led by the recent investment was led by Daimler. I was just in Stuttgart talking with Daimler's kind of innovation group. What they're looking at, and this is the focus of theirs now, is the passenger experience, because they realize we'll reach the point at some time that there will only be passengers in the car, and so they're looking at entertaining passengers while they're driving. So there's all sorts of futures for enhancements of the transportation experience. One of the things I wanted to ask you too, if somebody else should think about their question. What kind of distribution is there across the world of people who are avidly pursuing a new language?
Okay. Well, there's more than 1 billion people who are looking to learn a language. Well, there's probably 1 billion Chinese who need to learn a language.
So is it Chinese that are using
actually, we are, our second market is China. on iOS.
Are they learning English or are
They're
they learning
English,
French?
Yeah, English, yeah.
What's your first
Yeah.
market?
First market is USA. Yeah.
Americans are
Yeah.
choosing to learn
Yeah.
languages.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought that?
But yeah. I think it's also we are at a point where everybody wants to become better, so they look at languages, you know, not only as a necessity, but also as, you know, like brain fitness. You know, you're learning something, you're keeping yourself busy in a fun way. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I'm old, ma parlo italiano.
Oh.
È molto divertente parlare italiano.
Molto
perciò
bene.
vorrei imparare più. All right. So we got a question over here.
Hi, good morning. My name is Abhijit. My question is to Martin, that while you're dealing with the transportation industry, there is a legacy problem of trade unions sometimes. So when you grow, do you or your investors plan to tackle it, and how do you plan to do it?
Yes, so if we look at different regions, then it's quite different. There are, in Eastern Europe, usually there hasn't been a situation where you have to pay a much amount of money for the taxi license. If you compare to Western Europe or US, New York or Germany, for example, the black market price of a taxi license could be from 30,000 to a few hundred thousand. So people actually taking loans to get taxi license. So my question is, why is that? If I want to become a hairdresser, I don't need a 300,000 license. And if I need to drive around, all mothers can actually drive their kids to the kindergarten. So why they can't drive other people? So what we clearly see is, like, when I have also taken the rides myself or drive other people around, and I'm especially careful when I take someone on board, because even maybe more careful than my own family, because it's someone I don't know. So so these kind of things is the context, and yeah, clearly the unions are trying to keep status quo in many of the markets, but we feel that it's two things. One is the taxi company owners. They don't want the change, so it's not even that much taxi drivers, it's the company owners. And the second part, of course, that is not talked that much, is still a lot of cash is in that business, and it's also very much corrupt, and that is why the market is not changing. So these people behind the industry, they have big influence with politicians, and they don't make the change. Again, let's look at the whole industry from the passenger's point of view. What passenger needs, and let's build the regulation based on that, not anything else. And that's what matters. If Europe wants to make an innovation and do the change, we should look at it from the passenger point of view and create an open market, then everyone can openly compete on the business terms, equal terms.
Yeah, it seems to me that the theme over and over again for startup companies is, who is your customer? And once you define that, then that's who you pay total attention to. And your customer is the passenger. And yours is the learner.
I agree, yeah.
I mean, our customer is also the driver, but what the driver is looking for is the hourly income and efficiency. They don't, older times taxi drivers came out, they sit in the car 12 hours and they maybe did 6 rides during that time. Nowadays, on average, our drivers are doing 2.4 rides per hour. So that means there is almost no free time. And we invite them actually to come out only when there is demand. So taxi is very seasonal business. In the morning, people go to work, it's high. During the day, it's low. And in the evening, again, it's high. So there is no point of keeping the thousands of drivers out there throughout the day when there is no rides. So, so we do two things. So we educate them when to come out. And second thing is we try to fill in these low hours also by changing people's habits. Nowadays, many parents, they actually send their kids now to trainings, to school, to everywhere with a car, and they don't even need to quit their work during that time, because they used to go out of work, missing a meeting or something else, going to the kindergarten, then taking the kid to the training, then back to the work. 3/4 of that ride is waste. So if you now can just order a car, taking this from A to point B, if you look at your hourly income that you make at work and what's the taxi ride price during that, everyone common sense, you understand it works. So I mean, if you changing of people's mindset and behavior, that's what takes time, and that's what we're trying to educate. So yeah, if you look.
Which, by the way, is one of the things that your industry has perfected, and that is, you know where all of us go all the time, and what time we do go, and where we go, and whether it's men going there or women going there, or what children, which is a ton of very valuable information, which you use just internally, I hope.
Depending of the cities, we actually share some of it with the cities as well. But of course, yeah, we try to use that data also to understand which part of the cities the public transport is working more efficient to where it's less efficient. And also we are considering of, let's say, a minivan service that is, we would call it a flexible bus route that goes from one part of the city to another, but it's not fixed streets that it goes, but it can take few blocks here and there to maybe go through your house so that it's more convenient. So it's something between taxi and regular bus. So these are the things that we are thinking and planning potentially to add on to.
Which reminds me of a topic that I hear here in Europe much more than I do, at least until recently in the US, and that is diversity. Can you tell the difference? Can you tell whether your student is male or female?
Well, if they consent to accept,
they have to consent.
Yeah, then I can read it in the app if they give.
So,
yeah. But
what's the breakdown? Is it half-half?
It's a little bit more women, like 52% or something like that. Yeah.
And your riders?
We actually don't intentionally ask that. So
right.
Sometimes we just do questionnaires, but if you sign up, we try to ask as little information as possible. So because the information we don't need, it's better not to have it as well. So otherwise there is potentially bigger risk of someone wanting to get that information.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I would say that in Europe it tends to be currently 60% men and 40 women, and in Africa it seems to be the opposite, 60% women and 40 men, and it seems to be more a security issue on the streets that where there is no public transport and then crime is high, then women actually prefer taxi to be more safe from one house to another. So.
Right. Interesting. Are there other questions out there that I can't see because of the lights?
So congrats to all three entrepreneurs, first of all. A question to Alex. I'm over here. So first of all, Alex, it's really inspiring to hear that you've been featured, by Facebook, by Google. A question, and maybe inspiration for some entrepreneurs. Have you managed to do that, straight with the team only in Brasov, or you actually have teams, I don't know, lobbying or being in touch with people in San Francisco?
Okay, thanks for the question. So if we, it's the team in Brasov, yeah. I'm really proud to be able to achieve that with a team in our city. But I can say there has been a lot of work. So I traveled a lot. I've been traveling for the last 5 years to the developer conferences, to all kind of meetings, and trying to put the word out. You kind of need that, especially if you want to be, in continuous contact and to be able to announce when you have an update and hope for a feature. So there's work there too. But this week, what we received on Oculus was, let's say I just sent an email, hey, we have an update, and it happened. Yeah, thank you.
Over here's a question.
Okay. So a question for both of you. Both of you have a global perspective of doing business. So from the point of view of ease of doing business, which is the easiest and the worst country you have worked with, and how you perceive Romania in this overview? Thank you.
Okay. Well, okay. If I got this question, I think Italians complain a lot. That's what's memorable. I think, yeah, Western countries usually give a lot of feedback, and I appreciate that. There's, you know, if they don't like something, they explain why, especially the Nordics, very structured feedback. Yeah, and I think Romania is actually quite, I think, you know, people are downloading, are learning, so I'm really satisfied with where Romania is now. Yeah.
So we come from Estonia. Our headquarters is in Estonia, and yeah, we are really happy to run a global company out of there because we have lots of digital services, and it's really easy to run a company like that when you can do your taxes online and establish a company in 20 minutes. So these are the things that we are actually very used to. And then when we go to more emerging markets, then I would also say that they tend to have less regulation, and so yeah, it's also relatively more easier. If we go to more Western markets, which has longer history, more complicated regulation, then of course you need to comply more. You need to fill in lots of paperwork and all of that. So that's something that we are not that used to from Estonia. So everything you can handle with digital signatures. You don't need to submit lots of forms. So this is something that we struggle a bit, but of course it's part of the business. You need to learn it, you need to adopt, you need to understand why is it in that country, and then yeah, you just manage it.
Great, well thank you both. Our time is up, and I want to again thank the city of Cluj-Napoca, because this is my first time in Romania. It was a fantastic experience, and I'm really pleased and proud to be with you guys on stage. You guys are going to help change the world in the right way, I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. It's my pleasure.
That was great. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now up next panel I've been personally looking forward to, how to build startup cities across Europe. And at Factory we work a lot with municipalities, and I think we'll hear, so to speak, from the horse's mouth today on how that goes going across Europe. Let me please ask to come to the stage as your moderator, Arturo Villar.
So thanks, Simon. Thanks all. Good morning. So please, I would like that all mayors, deputy mayors from 4 countries, Romania, Bulgaria, Greece, and are coming to the stage, please. And Republic of Moldova as well. So, I think we need some very important person in this initiative. So please, Isidro Lasso, the head of Startup Europe Initiative of European Commission, came to the stage.
Hello. Hello, thank you, Arturo. Thank you, Mr. Bok. Thank you, I have to read the name because I don't know all the names, sorry. Mr. Robu, the mayor of Timisoara. Thank you, Port Ernest Varna. You are Varna? Yeah. Thank you, Paolo, Mr. Paolo Garanzini from the Heraklion. And also, thank you to Mr. Ambrose, the mayor of Unheni in Moldova. I don't know if I pronounce it correctly or not, for being here as well. So it's a pleasure to see so many local authorities with us today. When we started this idea of the Startup Europe Cities, or the Startup City Europe Partnership, was to solve a very, very specific problem. And the very specific problem is that the new economy, the startups, are concentrated geographically in a very, very few cities across Europe. Normally, it's the capital, or in the case of Germany and Spain, is the capital and a second city. Munich in Germany, Barcelona in Spain. So we wanted to move away from that. We know the problems, social problems that this concentration of wealth and power in the hands of so very few cities across Europe could generate for the rest, for the stability of Europe. So we decided to go for a partnership of mid-sized cities like the ones that you have here, cities that are not the capitals, but that they have a lot of talent. And talent, and we saw yesterday, is the key. It's not money, it's talent, what is needed, and talents who are connecting one another. So a lot of meetups, hackathons, and informal meetings for the people to get to know. We base our decision on this report, the Startup City report, where you have all the data justifying the need, the call for action. So this is how this was created, and the person who has been leading that is Arturo Villar, with the initial support and financially speaking of Alberto Onetti over there from Mind the Bridge. And we thank to Alberto for this support as well. And where we now here the first public meeting of the mayors, because it was presented in the European Parliament with the President of the European Parliament, Mr. Tajani, and that was okay for the visibility in Brussels, but now we are coming down to earth, and we want, I'm really looking forward to hear what the local authorities have to say about how to turn your cities, the mid-sized cities, not into a smart city, that's the past, but into a startup city. It's not about building your city with the best possible infrastructure and all the possible best technologies for other startups to take advantage of your citizens, selling products to your citizens and getting the money out of your city to the big cities. It's about you helping your people to set up startups and being able to use the smart city that you have built to sell products to the rest of the world. So we need to move from the smart cities to the next level, that is the startup city. And this is a challenge for you, and I give the floor now to Arturo to continue the conversation, and I will go down to listen to your insights on how you want to turn your cities into a startup city. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Isidro. We can say, when I met Mayor Emil in San Francisco 7 months ago, he highlighted the question of not being an ecosystem, being ecosystem. So I will not be to be an ego moderator, and we have to work like a team. We are here, and so I will highlight what is a startup city. A startup city at the end is a question of trying to identify a strong point of the ecosystem where all the stakeholders can look for, okay? So at the end, it's starting in people and finishing people. So I would like to highlight that in Cluj ecosystem, one key person is the mayor as a chief executive officer of a company. So imagine the startup city is a company, okay, with a leader that is the mayor. But the mayor needs a great team, so needs a chief operation officer. So I would like to highlight the work of Emilia Botesan as this role of chief operation officer, connecting the private sector with the public sector. So please, a big applause to Emilia Botesan. Stand up. So for me, startup city is people. So again, chief executive officer, chief operation officer, and we need as well chief technical officer. And I would like to highlight the work here in Cluj ecosystem with Bianca Muntean. I don't know if it's here, so big applause as well. Is there? So we can say this is the free briefing. Again, people connected with all the ecosystem. So now, 10 of the mayors. So mayors, we have an important challenge, okay? We are starting a new concept in Europe. So please, Mayor Bock, I would like that you can show, again, brief, if it's possible, of all of us, to highlight what now at local level is doing a municipality, yourself, to work more with the startups.
Thank you, Arturo. you should know that we have a timer here. It seems there are 33 minutes sharp from now on, so we have to close in 33 minutes the session. I'll try to go straight to the point. First of all, this city, it's for us as a municipality, as a mayor, a fantastic challenge and opportunity to emphasize the competitive advantage of what we have, the talents. This is the most important asset of our city. People, the talents, they are changing the city, they are the stronger asset, and we try as a city to promote, to mobilize, and to support them. So from that perspective, the key component in terms of startups definitely are the talents. So here there is a question. I hope I do not put in a mistake, in a wrong way. Money follows talents, or talents follows the money? My answer is very clear. Money follow the talents. So if we have talents, we have money. So from that perspective, the entire strategy of the city is focusing how can we keep our talents here, how can we bring our talents home from Europe in order to have the best ecosystem of innovation. So that would be the first approach. The second, as I said yesterday, it's the ecosystem. It's so important to collaborate to support the entire ecosystem of Cluj-Napoca, because they are really wonderful people, and our duty is to have eco, not ego system, and try to do our best with our team and to be part of this ecosystem. We are not in top, we are part of. So that would be the second element. Third, I would say that, Arturo, congratulations for having this great idea you launched to us in order to have another phase of collaboration between our cities. Sometimes we are perceived just to be in the competition. Yes, the competition always exists, but, and always a but, how can we collaborate better, because you have better results if you have an attitude of collaboration instead just focusing on competition. Competition is always going to exist because people are used to compare, because the state of mind, but how can we move faster in order to offer to our communities the best solutions? So your idea to have the Startup City Europe partnership, it's offering us the possibility to share our experiences, to connect each other, and to learn from each other, and in the same time to add value. Depends on our specialization. So I'm glad to be here with the general manager from Timișoara, another strong and important city in Romania, and also Ungheni from Republic of Moldova, which is a sister city of Cluj, and of course, dear friends, which are nearby us, to move forward in terms of collaboration. From our side, the entire city is a living lab, offering as a solution for startups. Second, we have a positive advantage on innovation, definitely. All of us heard yesterday Commissioner Maria Gabriel talking about digital Europe, 5 domain of specialization. Many of them are appropriate to us to collaborate, like artificial intelligence, like digital skills, like blockchain, or like was the last one, create an innovative ecosystem. So from that perspective, it's a good way to put projects together because we'll be more successfully collaborate. And inclusion specifically, we can collaborate very good in terms of Internet of Things for medical issues and artificial intelligence. I think we have the ingredients, the capacity to move on with our component to share with other cities from Europe, Arturo, as you said. Last but not least, I will conclude. From my perspective, in order to have a successful startup, you need few elements. You are the best, you know. You need ideas, you need funding, you need a team, you need, let's say, a project scheme, a project manager. But the most important thing from my perspective are even not the ideas, not the money, not the team, is the timing. Right time, right place. What I mean, I was asking all of you, you know about R&B, yes? when they started. When was the crisis period? Why? Before the crisis, nobody was willing to share their home with a foreigner. When the crisis arrived, lack of money, someone had a bright idea and moved forward with R&B. And now it's a big and a successful story, for example. Why? They were successful with the timing, exactly in the right time. So now talking to Arturo initiative, I think you are in the best timing possible in this very moment, because all of us have the ingredients, we have the talents, we have the framework, the ecosystem. Let's move and working together now with all these cities and the entire network you created. So from our side, from Cluj-Napoca perspective, I will fully support your initiative and collaborate with our friends in order to have the best ecosystem of innovation, the best ecosystem for startups in our network. Thank you.
Really thanks, Emil. So now I would like to highlight that the network is a Europe continent, so it's not only member states. So please, the Mayor of Hungary Republic of Moldova, I would like to know what's now the current action at the local level related to startups.
Hello, everybody. My name is Alexandru Ambros. I'm Mayor of Hungary. Arturo, let me introduce some short introduction. First of all, I want to express my gratitude to Mr. Mayor Emil Boc to give me this opportunity to be here. Also, I want to express Mr. Mayor, you and the City Council member for all the support what you offer for my city. This very good and famous projects what we implemented together in the city of Hungary. Thank you very much. Also, I want to express the gratitude for government of Romania. I want to say there is not another country in the world who know better what has happened in the Republic of Moldova, believe me. Romania is support us, we feel your shoulder, and I want Romania now our desire to be part of the Europe. And it's happened not because we speak in the same language. We speak in Romanian language in Moldova and Romania, but it's happened because Romania treats us not just like a neighbor or a friend. Romanians treat us like a friend. Thank you very much, dear friends. In terms of ecosystem in my city, I want to mention Hungary is one of the first cities in the Moldova what created the preconditions for innovation. In Hungary in 2002, more than 15 years ago, was created a business center for support new businesses. This business center working until now. A lot of businesses started, was supported by this center, and now they are successful business in Hungary and in the Moldova. So, also what you do to create this environment for innovation, we assign so-called Covenant of Mayors signatures. This is European Union initiatives to put together the local authorities and regional authorities to a statement to reduce CO2 emissions and also to promote renewable energy. We created a sustainable energy action plan and try to implement it. Also, Hungary is a signature of Mayors for Economic Growth. Also, this is initiatives of European Union for Eastern member country. In Hungary, we created the free economic zone. What means free economic zone is a special zone where special for foreign investment. There are 38 residents now in this zone. It's a lot of advantage to make an investment in this zone because of partially income tax exemption, VAT zero, also possibility to make free to rent free lands, and 100% exemption for income tax for goods and services what exported from Republic of Moldova. This is several examples what I can to offer in to to support above statement in the Republic of Moldova.
Thank you so much, Major Alexandru. And now I think it's the time of south of Europe, time of Greece, Deputy Mayor of Heraklion, Gian Andrea. Let me what you are doing at local level, please.
Good morning, everybody. First of all, let me thank the municipality of Cluj-Napoca for the hospitality, and of course you, Arturo, for all the effort that you're putting in this marvelous, I would say, journey that you all take us into, and that we were all very willing to participate to. Yes, Heraklion is the southwesternmost point in Europe, and Heraklion and Crete, in general, Heraklion is the capital city of the region of Crete, the island of Crete, are a very peculiar case for, as far as startup cities and building startup cities are concerned. It's an island, first of all. It's not attached to the continent. And then the city of Heraklion itself is a small, medium-sized city. It's 220, 230,000 inhabitants. Overall, the region of Crete has 700,000 inhabitants, so the numbers are not big numbers. There is very little heavy industry. There is no much high-tech industry. There are mainly services and tourism. Of course, services and tourism is or are at top European and world quality. Nevertheless, this remote, isolated, kind of small Heraklion deserves and wants to join the network of Europe's startup cities. How is it possible? The answer is very simple. First, there is the presence of the National Foundation for Research and Technology of Greece, which has the seat in Heraklion. It's one of the top research centers in Europe, and it's classified among the 50 top in the world. Then there is a very strong pole of excellence as far as academy and scientific research institutes are concerned. We have the University of Crete, then there is the Polytechnical University, there is the Technical University, there is the Institute for Marine Research and Biology, then there is the ENISA, the European Union Agency for the Safety of the Internet. This is a very, very strong pole, and this of course means creation of talents, the word we were just hearing about. And then, what else? There are also the two, there is also another factor which actually is double, which is key to succeed for startup. Everything seems nice when we have a general idea about startups, but in a world which is very competitive, in a world which is very specialized, you need to be specialized too. So we have in Crete these two specializations. Of course, one is tourism. It goes without saying, it's natural. And the other one is agro-food. Crete, for its position, it's a very florid and fertile land. There is a very rich production, and the production does not only concern production, but it involves history, it involves tradition, it involves the way to sell, quote unquote, the experience of traditional agriculture to tourists in order to invest, in order to make entrepreneurship. And this is what we will, in Heraklion, we already are, to be honest, but we will focus on in order to develop our specialization and to offer this specialization to the network of startup cities because, and this is the last point, and then I will talk later because the counter is running very fast. We got to 19 minutes now. Because the other thing that we can offer, and we do offer, and I can here announce that we are going to organize with Arturo and with the network of cities a meeting in Heraklion, possibly June, July, after, because we have elections now in May, we cannot do it. We also have the will to, the capability, you will tell us, the will to establish very good and profitable international relations, which is another key, because alone in a network it's very difficult to survive. Thank you.
Thanks, Andrea. And now coming again to Romania, I would like, what's the opinion of the city manager and vice mayor of Timișoara, Mr. Robert? Please, what are you doing now at local level in Timișoara?
Hello. As nice as it sounds, and it's written there, I'm not the mayor of Timișoara, I'm the city manager. Unfortunately, Mr. Mayor could not be here. He sends his regrets. He had some urgent matters to deal with, and he delegated me to be part of this event because he really wanted to be Timișoara to be involved in this event. The city of Timișoara, in order to promote startups, followed 3 steps. Identify, incentivize, and promote cooperation. Firstly, we identified the main industries and the big companies that drive the Timișoara's economy, and we found out that IT&C and automotive and an interesting mix of IT for automotive are the main industries in Timișoara, and we looked up what can we do to help these industries. So on second step, we try to incentivize and try to help young people make this big step of entering the entrepreneurship. And we created, with the help of European funds, of course, an IT&C incubator and an automotive center. The IT&C incubator has 54 offices. It's located quite in the city center. And the biggest advantage of the IT&C incubator is that it has a really, really cheap rent. It starts from 3.5 euros per square meter in an area where companies lease it for at least 20 euros per square meter. So this is a really big advantage for the new entrepreneurs that want to start. And second of all, in this incubator, we have meeting places, we have meeting rooms they can use for free, and a big conference room with good infrastructure for events that they can also use it for free. Also in the automotive center, we have an IT training center, we have a lot of automotive equipment, they can use it for free, and also we make a lot of trainings for the people that want to do and enter this business in automotive. Also, as another part of incentivizing, we tried to help the student NGOs that do tech events, and we funded some events in this tech area because we want to promote and inspire the next generation of tech entrepreneurs. And we are lucky in Timișoara, we have a lot of NGOs that created some ecosystem in this tech area, and we always are close to them and try to help them in everything they do. Third of all, and lastly, regarding cooperation, cooperation rather than competition, because the value of cooperation lies not just into some small discussions and exchanging ideas, but creating a network of entrepreneurs that help each other. Ultimately, individual entrepreneurs that are part of a network that look up one to each other are more likely to succeed and help each other grow the whole ecosystem. So in Incubox, this happens, and I know some cases of companies that are in the same incubator, and they cooperate in different projects and help each other. So this is summarized up everything that we do for the startup big business. Thank you.
Thanks, Vice Mayor Robert. So now, as ending a country brother with Romania, I would like to introduce the Deputy Mayor of Varna. So what are you doing now at local level? And also I would like to highlight a potential collaboration that are already ongoing with the Cluj ecosystem. So let me know.
Yeah. So As you know, and as we used to say in Varna, the frustration is the mother of innovation. So for the first time, the municipality is so open for the new initiative that we shall do, the new digital hub that is established, the whole new ecosystem that was created around this. But one more time, Mr. Bock, thank you very much for the possibility to meet with these beautiful people over there. From yesterday and today, the morning, we have continuous meetings, so we met a lot of new people, and the most important is the connections, because connections are the core of every one ecosystem. And it is not only the connection, but as we see today, the number of meetups, and if you meet the right people with the right place, like you said, then the miracle happens. So what happened in Varna these days? So we have a quite new digital hub. We have quite new partner from here. We have quite new relationships. So I hope that everything would be fine for us.
Okay, thanks, Deputy Mayor Nick. And I would like now, we can say the second round, more closing what we are doing in the short term through the network, that Mr. Bock will highlight the real opportunities now that we are trying to do between Varna ecosystem based on the specialization. Specialization is blockchain applied to tourist sector, and as Mayor said before, Cluj now wants to be a leader, or at least co-leader in Europe, based on applying Internet of Medical Things to medical technology, okay? That's the flag of Cluj nowadays. So I would like, what's your opinion, the real opportunities for the startups to grow, and also the economy development that can be together with this?
Very brief. Yes, we can be a leading city in terms of IoTs for medical things, and also for artificial intelligence as a a component of Internet of Things for medical activities. So these two domains, both enabling us to create and to emphasize the ecosystem of innovation. Because, as I said at the beginning, our strategy is really and fully based on talents. The main and the competitive advantage of these cities is the university. We have 10 public and private universities, more than 100,000 students. They are the real asset of this city, the talents. So how can we keep them here? How can we convince the others to come in our city? This is the main target and the main, the main strategy for the mayor office to have them here. Also, I said, money follows the talents. I'm sure if you have the talents, we'll have the money. The other way around also is available, but I think first you need the talents. So from that perspective, we were very first in the country to create a consultative council for entrepreneurship, IT research and development between clusters in the innovation sector, the university, and the mayor office. And I'm very thankful to have here a person who did such a wonderful work for this council to be a successful one, to be together and to see what are the needs of the university sector, of the business sector, of the innovation sector. Bianca Muntean and Mr. Kellerman, the executive directors of the clusters, who are the engine forces, together with the university and the mayor office, working every day how to update the strategy of the city on the innovation field, and also to keep the city on the higher level in terms of development. Without this ecosystem, nothing would be possible. So when I mention eco, I mean this kind of collaboration between the stakeholders in this field. So this is another asset of my city to mention, and I encourage you to do the same as possible. Last, Varna was the former capital of youth. Cluj was the former capital of youth. Timișoara, it's a member of our alliance, for example. We have a great and good collaboration. Ungheni, it's a sister city of Cluj. Heraclion could be a future city or sister city of Cluj. So I think we can improve our collaboration, moving to the level of sister cities, offering us the possibility to have an exchange of opportunities. And last, what is important to keep our talents? Quality of life. Definitely, I try to bring the best ideas. How can we offer the best environment to our talents to stay here. So from that perspective, try to have the best context for quality of life, education, healthcare, safety, medical treatments, but in the same time, sport events, cultural events, a vibe of the city to keep our talents and their creativity to boost on. It's so important for the city. So now the entire strategy of the city is focused on green technologies, on green mobility, electric buses, share space, to have more emphasis on citizens, on people, not on cars in terms of traffic. Try to promote the basic concept which are appealing to the innovative generation, the one who are bringing our future jobs, but because the startups are taking care about our future jobs, so we have to take care of them and their creativity. Sorry for being so long, but we still have 7 minutes and 30 seconds.
No, thank you so much, Emil. Now I would like to highlight what are some of the specializations that we are running. For example, for Heraklion is related to agri-food, or Ungeni related to wine. When we say this is agri-food startup city, so again, it's the combination of startup with the city. Combination is the value, okay? So I would like now that just in 30 seconds, because we have a very good surprise for all of us, and we need sometimes, you know, that is coming one person, but I would like a final statement, okay, of all of us, like Emil has already did. So please, Gian Andrea.
Well, ecosystem is a word composed by two Greek words, which is ekos, which means house, and system, which is systema, which is system, of course. This is an international used word now. It means that we have to create a common house. And within this common house, we have to work as a system, as a family, or as partners or cooperators. Let's put it that way. And this is what we're trying to do. And as any good family, there are roles, okay? So in order to be part of a network or a family, it's not possible that we have 4 fathers, 4 mothers, or 4 kids. We have to have 1 mother, 1 father, and 2, 3, 4, 5 kids, if possible. And this is what we mean by specializations. It would not be smart if the city of Heraklion, the city of Cluj, the city of Umgeni, Timișoara, Varna, and so on and so forth, and all the other cities that join the European network, because there are many more cities which are not present here today. It would not be smart if they did the same thing. So we have to find what suits us best in order to suit everybody best. And as far as Heraklion is concerned, and Crete, because I always see this as a whole, being it an island, we are specialized in tourism, and we are going to be specialized in agro-food as far as startup cities matters is concerned. Why that? Because we are very strong in that, 1, and 2, because there is a big potential which is unexploited so far, and this is one of the roles we are going to develop together within this family we are creating. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Andrea. Please.
In terms of specialization, I think Moldova must take in consideration what we a country with huge amount of vineyards. Moldova has highest density of vineyards in the world, small territory, but a lot of vineyards. Our wine is very good, and wine of Moldova is our business card, is our ambassadors around the world. But why I think the wine can be our specializations and startup Ungeni. I just would shortly tell you about one curious case. You know, our traditional market is Russian Federation. In 2006, almost 80% of our wine was until 2006 was exported in Russian Federation. But in 2006, because our wishes and desires to be part of Europe, Russian Federation said our wine is good quality, and not for import, put embargo for wine. All the in Moldova was full with the wine. All the bottles was full, and in Ungeni there is Ungeni vin to empty all the capacity, all the barrels, and distill all the wine, transform the oil in spirit, and because spirit is 10 times less and the bottles of 5 years old cognac. This is a startup, but never then now what is called now. Why I think Ungenican to be a good platform for these issues.
Thanks, Alessandro. So please, Robert, what's your opinion about the specialization, very briefly?
Sure. Yeah, well, I'm a really analytic person, and if I say a specialization, I cannot refer to something really specific. And I recently analyzed the data from different events like innovation labs, different startup events, and looked into them and saw that there's a tendency in Timișoara for the startups to activate the sector first market. So I think that Timișoara, and I think it's really important to create a tech alliance that will help cooperate the companies and the entrepreneurs, because the important part because the biggest problem that we're facing is the brain drain. Timișoara, and I think also in Heraclion, in Varna, and is a very important issue because Timișoara is lucky that we have from early stage events that help and the investors that in Timișoara years old bills with a lot of companies. So we have to make them like diamond from early stage and involve them in the ecosystem in order not to lose them. And I think this is what, as municipalities, we can work on. And on the other hand, we can put together the cooperation and maybe the entrepreneur and meet as the system grow. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. You have a lot of children, not them, but you love the one. We have one of different startups which are cybersecurity, but what we decide to be specialized in change the new technology which is very why we have technology that already together with the ecosystem of in the medtech, but thank you for the initiative. We just thank you for being so thank you for that agree to be united. So we are united a lot.
Thank always at the end of the year. So, Mayor, that's a very good moment to take this milestone and to follow in November this year in Rotterdam.
End of October, beginning of November.
Okay. So, thanks again. See you.
Gentlemen, before you go off stage, why don't we do a quick selfie all together? I'm the selfie guy, exactly.
The tech guy.
Come on.
But the best one.
Come on, all behind me. Go on here. All right then. Everyone, cheers. There you go. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So next up is an inspiring lightning talk by Sören Giegler. Sören, where are you? You're already here. All right, I'm off.
right, so thank you so much. So I wanted to start the lightning talk with actually yesterday. So thanks so much to the city of Cluj. I think it's a fantastic place to come together as a community. So who went to the party yesterday? So here we are dancing, the real community, and it was great. So basically, why is this? But Cluj is great because East meets West. So it's bringing us together across boundaries, forgetting our borders, and this is very close to my heart because I was actually born in East Berlin. So this is Alexanderplatz, and this is Café Moscow, where my parents were dancing like we last night, and that's where they met. And then for 6.5 years, we were all separated. Never again, East meets West. It's really important that we don't forget. So it's important to bring us together across boundaries, and it doesn't matter whether you're from the eastern part, central or western part, we are all a startup community, and I think we felt this very much last night. So now on my talk, so who knows this person? Who is he? You forgot his name. Famous statistician. What is the app? What's the startup called? You see here the bubbles? Gapminder, thank you. It's Hans Rosling, our rock star of open data from Sweden. So basically, but what nobody knows, how is it possible to do these amazing apps and startups, and how is Hans Rosling able to do this? So Hans Rosling approached us. I used to work in the World Bank, and he said he wanted to do a movie, Robin Hood coming to steal our data. Because Gapminder only works if you have access to data. So in the new economy, it's the DNA for startups. So it's data, networks, artificial intelligence. So it's not about infrastructure anymore. It's about blockchain. It's about IoT. It's about bringing AI and technologies together. But it's all about the data, and it's all about empowering you and us citizens to take control back of our own data. That's why we have the GDPR and others. So now I want to tell the untold story how the open data first started. So we actually were a team, believe it or not, of 5 people, and we were sitting around the coffee table, and we thought, what could we do that's really transformational, that would really change the world? And one thing we were sitting on a treasury, a huge treasury of all the data. Who of you has sometimes searched for, say, GDP? GDP in Romania. So what do you get as a result? Yes, but that just happened like this? So that's what, exactly. So now for any, and it's not just GDP, education, health, energy, telecom, it's all about data, the so-called World Development Indicators. Here it is. So give fast and easy access at your fingertips, right? You get access of the GDP or income inequality in Bulgaria, Romania, and that was basically thrown to an API and the first ever done data. What nobody knows, there was a huge revenue loss, actually of 4 million euros per year, $4 million, because you know what you used to need to access data? Registration, internet connection, what else? Was it for free? Could you just access it? No, you needed a credit card. You had to pay for it. So basically, all data were for sale. So public good. How do we create a public good, empowering you, startups, to develop apps? So here it is. but it's good business. So this is the rise in usage. So nobody used the data before, almost. I mean, 100,000. These are weekly statistics, and it really exploded. You see, in a short period of time, it more than went 4 times the usage. And today, it's even much, much bigger. So here, the next thing, competitions. You know, we have prizes, startups. So we did the first apps for development competition, empowering startups using the data and building their own apps and their own businesses. These are actually the winners. They were from the Netherlands, and most were from Europe. So it shows we have the amazing talent in Europe, but we have the platforms, because the platform was actually not in Europe. But the API, and to make it easy, empowered young people, startups, to develop their own apps and develop startup and businesses. So next, the next idea was very simple. Do you know what the EU is funding in Romania? There's a website. Can you look up, okay. So what type of projects do we have? Yes, so infrastructure, education, right. But human development. But do you know how many projects we have in Cluj? Or in your hometown? Can you just look it up? Easy, like the GDP on Google or any other search engine? Probably not, right? So that was our second big idea, was we called it putting development on a map. And now comes in the youth. So we were 4 people. We had a huge dream, and the dream was that any citizen could access, as a right actually, the information and data of what projects funded by international organizations are taking place in your city. Not even in your city, in your local community. So geospatial data, geotagging, empowers you. So here you see a document. Anybody's read some documents from us, the European Commission, a communication? Yes? How are our documents usually? Big? So how long are they? Quite long, right? Is it easy to understand? Yes, so you see here's the document which exactly describes, in this case it's still World Bank, but basically it's the same applies to the EU. And regular citizens have real issues understanding those documents. So what we basically done, we worked together over the summer with 40 youth, young people, and empowered them to read the documents and to geocode them. So basically exactly determine what type of projects take place in which city. Everybody thought we were crazy. It's impossible to be done. After 6 weeks with the young people, we were able to map all World Bank projects in the Africa region. And then the second we did, so now the big question is, like in Romania, so where should be the projects? In which part of Romania? Or which part of the country? So what you see here is actually the Human Development Index, like the life expectancy rate, the data below, and then on top of it you see where the projects are. So you can basically exact analysis whether your projects meet the needs of the people. So now you can take this at different levels, and here, for instance, this project was done in Haiti. Anybody heard about the earthquake in Haiti? Anybody heard about the thousands of volunteers that crowdsources the data and the disaster response? So what this shows, these are the shelters after earthquakes. What happens, it's a logistical nightmare. You don't know where the hospitals are, you don't know where the shelters are, you have to arrange, you have to coordinate. So what happened, again, young people, OpenStreetMap. Anybody knows OpenStreetMap? What is it? map. Oh, you're here. Fantastic. So here's our star. So basically, that's exactly what happens. A global community, and again, OpenStreetMaps is a tiny startup which started in a basement of London. And it's the biggest global completely open mapping tool which empowers people to share and map the data under their circumstance they want. And then basically communities came together, mapped these things, mapped the streets, mapped the construction. Then the aid workers and the NGOs, Save the Children, could in fact save lives because they knew where the problem was. And it was done through SMS. So basically everybody who needed help could send an SMS, a text message, saying, we're here stuck, could you please come and provide some assistance? But what was really the difference was the combination of SMS tools with mapping. So next, this is then applying it all. So here's the feedback loop. So here's the idea that anybody, say in schools, if your school doesn't work, you could basically send the feedback to the Ministry of Education and say that the roof or this is broken, or for instance, there are no textbooks. So there are many problems, but basically empowering people to provide direct feedback on the delivery of services by the government. So we've piloted this around also in Moldova, and we had a very big open data program there. So now let me move on to blockchain. So blockchain, we are very excited, and yesterday Nicola in one of the AI panel asked us, can you share some good news about Europe? Well, in blockchain technology and blockchain use for public sector, we're actually leading at the moment. So we have, through the European Commission, we basically formed an alliance, the blockchain government partnership, with 29 countries, so all member states besides Croatia, but they're about to join. So Romania has joined, Bulgaria, everybody in the region. And blockchain is, we are convinced, is a revolution. And why is that? Anybody here who is in blockchain? Yes, Manuela? Or? Oh, okay. I thought you wanted to explain. Okay. So basically, it takes us back to early days and the early philosophy of the internet. An open, collaborative, decentralized network where you can take back the charge of your data. And the biggest problem we have all is trust. Because the internet has grown so much, so many transactions, we cannot trust each other anymore. Very different than when the internet first started, because at the time, these were networks where people actually knew each other, or they were much more close. So now blockchain gives you back the trust, and anybody can verify it's collaborative, decentralized, and it's exactly the opposite of the big platforms we are using all today, such as LinkedIn, Apple, and Facebook. Because the concept here is that you, as a node, control jointly. The governance model is decentralized. So blockchain, for that reason, is a change. Completely changes the way we will use the internet in 5 years from now. So we have basically created, thanks to the European Parliament, the EU Blockchain Observatory and Forum. What does that mean? 1,000 people and organizations around the world work together with us on knowledge sharing, producing reports, analytics, just knowing more about blockchain. So that's basically the observatory. And now the last, and I invite everybody to join. So basically we have facilitated the creation of the International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications. It's a global program. We talked about Japan, so the Ministry of Japan is joining this program, led and facilitated by the European Union. But within 3 months, we received such an overwhelming response from startups, from corporates, from banks, from people. We have now around
140 organizations already joining. And in the advisory board, we have many, many organizations such as the UNICEF, I think is here, the World Bank, the EBRD, and others join this blockchain revolution. So join the blockchain revolution. Anybody interested in INATBA, please join us and be part of the change. So that's, and last I wanted to end with Bono. I'm a little bit older, so who still knows Bono or listens? So Bono basically came and he launched the project and he said, this is turbocharging development. Thank you very much.
Well, thanks a lot, Søren. Data's the new oil. God, I hate that. Didn't like oil in the first place. So next up, really young guy. I'm very curious to see what he has to deliver today. Eric Birini, come on. Come up to the stage.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to start by giving a warm welcome to everybody here in Cluj-Napoca, Romania, located in the heart of Transylvania. And I would like to thank to the municipality for giving us the chance to talk a little bit about our project and about our program. Ladies and gentlemen, our team of students from Transylvania College, together with entire staff, and together with all the teachers, worked very hard to organize the International Youth Summit of Transylvania 2019. And I am beyond honored to finally see this project come to life and finished. Last year, after I accumulated experience in different MUNs and different conferences, I was inspired to start create the International Youth Summit of Transylvania, which comprises 3 days, which is a summit comprising 3 days of intense debate in a unique and innovative style, organized entirely by students. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a unique project, which basically is a conference organized entirely by the students of Transylvania College, and we wanted to have a global impact. So the theme of the 2019 edition is Change the World of Tomorrow by discussing the world of today. And we also wanted to have 3 topics with a global relevance. So the 3 topics are education for diversity, the right to education, and the rise of extreme nationalism. After we finished kind of organizing it, we wanted to have a legacy, which would somehow clearly show and collect all the results of our work. So we founded the Challenge 1021 program, which is aimed to last for the next decade, combining and discussing 10 major themes of the 21st century. What we wanted by this is to empower students and to make them actually realize that education in the 21st century is in their hands. We inspired the delegations to propose viable solutions to every single subject and bring them back to their communities, schools, and countries and implement them as far as they can. The Challenge 1021 program is a call for every single student to become actively involved in their own education, taking the responsibilities of their future into their hands, making a difference while inspiring others. Well, it was a very tiring process, let's say, to organize and to make the whole thing come to life, because, well, we didn't have a notebook saying, okay, so this is how you should organize a conference. And of course, we saw many of them, but they were organized by adults. This was something new. Nobody did it before. So we had to do it kind of, and basically to build it up from the ground. And on this way, I would like to thank to all the coordinators present here who did an amazing job by being always there and sometimes staying until 8 p.m. in the school and being extremely active until on the duration of the 11 months when they organized the conference. And after the delegations came, we had 10 delegations from 7 countries and 4 continents who joined us, and together the debate sessions, we found some viable solutions, and we also created a manifesto for the conference. And well, I would like just to read and to introduce you a little bit. into this manifesto. First of all, we had on the first day we had dedication for diversity, where we find 5 solutions, and I would like just to read you some of them. First of all, implement a mandatory subject in order to raise awareness about topics such as racism, religion, LGBTQ+, starting from a young age. For high school, it becomes optional, but occasional workshops will be held for students that are not having this lesson anymore. 2. Organize school-wide activities such as presentations, debates, team building, games, every semester to discuss social problems, different cultures in order to connect all the students and build a better community. This is like a snapshot of the reality of like what we discussed on those days. Afterwards, we have the rights to education on the second day, where we found also 5 solutions. For example, implement a standard exam for each teacher to test their qualification and skill on the subject that they teach. Teachers with less than 75% are enrolled in mandatory training course over the holidays, and 50% and under means you spend the holiday catching up on materials. 2. If you are disabled, then schools cannot refuse you no matter the situation at hand. In the terms if you are disabled people have the same rights such as ramp, lift, to allow going up the floor. And on the third day of debate, we had an interesting debate discussion where Mr. Dacian Cioloș came to introduce us the topic, which was the rise of extreme nationalism. And there we also find 5 solutions, which are, for example, organize a student protest protesting the rise of nationalism, other political conflict in which social media campaigns will be used to get the word out. Or, for example, 2, use public and social media to convey a positive message regarding diversity within the country and of migrants that have come into the country. These are, as I said again, just some snapshots of the reality. The discussions were very, very intense, and it lasted for 1 entire day per topic. And I really think that we reached our goal, and these schools, because we have our program, these schools will go back to their communities, and when they will come back next edition, we will see how many of these solutions they actually implemented. And I would just like to congratulate everybody for this amazing startup conference here in Cluj-Napoca. And I would just like to say that we are a startup too, basically, because we started something which was new, which was innovative, and we want to basically to start a process where every single school who came to us will organize their own student-led conference in their cities. And it would be absolutely amazing to empower the young people to do such thing and to find and to discuss themes which are not very well discussed in every single society and community. And I would just like to say that you, ladies and gentlemen, are shaping the future. And many people are coming to us and saying that, okay, well, we don't know what kind of jobs will be in 50 years. Well, I don't know what kind of jobs will be in 5 years. And you, the startups, are shaping our future and are saying that, well, this is what we should do and this is what we should have. And we, the young community, wants to be involved in every single initiative you are taking on. And I think what your role is in our education is to inspire us, because we need inspiration. And by your inspiration, we can do great things and can reach amazing projects like this International Youth Summit, which I say again is a unique project in the entire world, and it was recognized by the President of Romania, giving us the honor to have the high patronage of the President of Romania, Mr. Klaus Iohannis. So what can I say? Thank you very, very much for inviting us today. And if you have any questions, I can answer them maybe outside, because I would really, really like to tell you more. I don't have the time to do that right now, but if you will join us maybe next year, and we really want to expand. So as I said, we had just 10 delegations, and from the next year we want to have more and more, to bring more and more communities to Cluj-Napoca to see what a beautiful city this is. And well, what can I say? Thank you very, very much for listening to us.
Thank you very much. That was so inspiring. I wish I would be so young like you and be able to deliver such good speeches and do so many great things. Our moderator today had to leave a little bit earlier, and he gave me the microphone. So I would like to invite for the very, very last panel, and for the very last closing remarks, and for the big thing of of today, more specifically the Startup Europe Award winner, Mr. Mayor Bock, Ms. Manuela Catrina, Secretary of State, and from the commercial bank, Ms. Laura Mihaela, which will give the check to the winner. Please come to the stage.
Myself. What can I say now? I'm very thankful to all of you for offering to my city, to our wonderful talents, the possibility to be for a few days the European capital of startups. And this is a thing which is going to be forever in the history of our city. And also, I'm sure that the consequences we'll see in the future in many jobs, many startups in this city, in the region, in Romania, and why not in the whole Europe. Last but not least, I'd emphasize that being more than 1,000 people around, this is a strong message for Europe. Connecting each other, working together, we can make our Europe stronger, more integrated, and especially in these kind of times when we need more integration, to emphasize that our common future is Europe. We need more Europe, not less Europe. So keep in mind this, because it's so important. Every project which has been discussed today, yesterday, will be discussed tomorrow, depends on what is happening in Europe, and especially after 26th of May. Let's work together to have a common future in Europe and to support the people who really support Europe united. Thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
I also want to say that it's actually not an end of the conference. I'm very sure that it will be a beginning for the next events in inclusion in Romania for all our guests. I will also thank a lot to the municipality of Cluj helping us in being so involved in organizing this event, and also all of your participants creating this amazing vibe that everybody told me these days. That's something that happens very rare in a conference. I also want to thank the organizing teams, being, I will not name the names just not to forget somebody, but you know the amazing girls and boys, ladies and men that were here for you all the days, and without them we couldn't do anything, so please give them a big round of applause for everybody. And Cluj is an amazing city. Romania is for us an amazing country. We love Europe, and we invite you to participate for the next 3 months to the next events of the presidency. We do our best to make events as beautiful as such. We'll miss Untold, but still we have to invent something, and see you in Romania, not only this year, but for the future.
It's my task now to announce the winner of the pitching session. I definitely salute the courage, and I'm very happy to sustain the talent and the expertise. We at BCR really believe that the accumulation of capital is mandatory for Romania, and we believe that if we let startups think that they can change the world, eventually they will actually do it. I'm very happy to award the company Ringel with Mr. Mihai Dârzan to be the winner of the pitching session. And I will let him a bit explain about the company and its pitch.
Thank you very much for the award. I'm very honored to receive this. Could you keep this? Yes. So. First of all, yesterday on the hallway, I took a fortune cookie, and it says, "Today a new adventure begins." That was the day when. Thank you. I personally don't believe in luck, but I think the fortune cookie said the truth. My name is Mihai Dârzan, and I'm the CEO and founder of Ringel. We build ERP and CRM software for the power and gas markets. empowering the companies to boost their business. Big companies in this market are using our platforms such as E.ON, Engie, ČEZ, Electrica, Veolia, and other as such. For example, for you to better understand what we are doing, half of the persons in this room, if you work or live in Romania, probably you consumed energy that at one point was managed by our platforms. Today in Romania, we have more than 50% of the active power suppliers and more than 20% of the natural gas suppliers in our portfolio. We already expanded last year in Serbia, and we're planning to expand as a first step to the ex-Yugoslavian countries and to the neighboring countries. And as a second step, we're planning to expand to the Central Europe, Western Europe, and then to USA. And I think that's about it. Again, thank you for this award. I'm very honored to be here on the stage with you. And please go and take a fortune cookie. It might tell you the truth, not the luck that you have, but the truth after you already worked your, excuse me for the word, your ass off. Okay.
Picture, picture.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
So, it's almost done. Simon is left, but he gave me his card with the last final remarks. And they are very, very short. And I want to share them with you. We're so excited that this happened here. This happened in Cluj. This happened in the innovation capital of Europe today. And we're super excited that we had you. You had you, innovators, entrepreneurs, being inspired, being networked, learning about what is happening in Europe. And the message is, think about billions, not millions. Think about that diversity is not enough. We need to expand. We need to look beyond. We need to not look for local heroes, but global champions. And of course, we have great honor here to have in the last 2 days commissioners, ministers, mayors, secretaries of state, like honorary ambassadors, and you, founders, entrepreneurs, investors, students, and the champions of tomorrow. We thank you, and we thank also the entire team which was able to put this together in a very, very big way. Thank you, have a great day, enjoy the side events, and hope to see you at the next Startup Europe Summit. Woo!
saying, look, just come to us with an idea and we'll be able to come to us with just that. And I hope that many of you will apply in the next couple of months. The first calls, I think, with equity will be launched as of June, okay? And we will run 4 cut-off dates, so 4 calls per year, where you will have 3 months where to, apply with your project. This European Innovation Council pilot and the future European Innovation Council is targeted at startups and SMEs only, okay? It's, again, repeating 2 billion for the next 2 years and 10 billion for the following 7 years. And one of the objectives of my, attending the conference is here that to really make you aware of this instrument, and I really hope that you will take advantage of it. How to apply? That's your second question.
Let me
yes.
go to that, the next question. So here, if you were looking for a revolution, not a French-style revolution, of course, it's no bloody revolution, but if you were looking for a revolution in the way the public administrations in Europe are supporting innovators, here you have the European Innovation Council. It's not prescriptive, no topics, not telling the people what they have, it's focused on the people. So it looks very much like a VC. It's looking like turning the European Commission into a venture capital or business angel title of people. And also, this is in the selection. In the way the management of the commission of those projects is also revolutionary, because we'll not be functionaries, people like us, we don't know. We know very little about innovation and innovators, but will be people who is sitting now there, the ones who will be working for 3, 4, 5 years for the commission, but still being innovators, the ones who will manage the projects. So you see, revolutionary in the way the money will be given, not based on idea, but based on the people, and revolutionary also in the way the project will be managed, because we'll not be managed in the traditional functionary approach, focus on the payments, or the deliverables, etc. Will be managed more with an innovation mindset. So all this sounds very good in terms of amount of money you have, from 50,000 euros up to 2.5 million or even 50 million with equity, a total budget of 2 billion for the next 2 years and 10 billion for the next. How to get money to get
exactly, yes.
to this money?
So that brings me to your second question, which is you will have, you'll have to go to a participant portal where you will see the calls and apply online, okay? It's going to be a maximum 15 pages, 15 pages application form, where we're going to ask you basic information, of course. What is what is your market strategy? What is your ambition? What is, how is the team? How you're going to implement? What is your idea? The impact of that idea? And we've been working very hard over the last couple of weeks to really simplify this submission form. And then later, at the later stage, if you request, for example, equity, then the special purpose vehicle, so the fund...
Don't use those technical words.
Exactly. Well, imagine an investment manager, okay, who says, well, this idea is an amazing, idea, something that will disrupt innovation, is very ambitious. You really have to think big, okay? If you ask me what makes a successful project under the European Innovation Council pilot, first of all, the ambition. Second, the idea and the impact. And third is think big. Don't come to us to say, I want to develop my product in the Romanian market or Estonian or whatever. You have to convince us about the European added value, which means that what you're doing is going to be scaled up later, either the product, the business model at European level or even global level, okay? That is what makes a project raw. You'll be asked after this submission form, which will be evaluated by peer review evaluators remote. We will ask you to come to Brussels for an interview, okay? And you will have to convince us, actually the CEO and the team, that you have...
Functionaries? They are going to convince the functionaries?
No, not...
Are we good on that?
No. I am an observer in those interviews, okay? Because that panel, the jury panel in the interviews, they are investors. They are, people who know the technology. They are scientists. They are entrepreneurs. So this is what you will present in front of. You know, I'm there just to observe that there is no, exactly, and to improve the evaluation process. I'm not allowed to ask any questions. They will, okay? And if you pass that and you have asked equity, then your project would immediately go to the pipeline, you know, of projects where the, let's say, the investment manager will carry out the due diligence, okay? Will come and visit your company and see, well, these guys, actually, they don't need 5 million euros. They probably need, you know, 7 and 8. They, you know, so we'll come back to you and say, you know, your project is extremely ambitious, but you could also scale down or say, well, it's actually, you know, for what they do and so on. So this is, but in a way, you know, all this together, we will take maximum 6 months, okay? From the moment you submit your proposal until the moment you get the answer back. If it's equity, of course, it will take a bit longer, that is 6 months, but it's going to be for the grant 3-4 months maximum, okay? You'll get go or no go. And then for the equity, it will take additional 2 months, and that in total 6 months, because you need
Ramona,
the process.
a very easy question, and also short answer. What is the URL for the people to apply?
The EU help.
The website where they can look for all these details.
The website where you can look for all these details is EASME. EASME, so it's the ec.europa.eu EASME, because EASME is the European Agency for SMEs, okay? So EASME, the EASME, and if you just type EASME, European Innovation Council, you will get on the course website.
Go into Google, EASME, or just maybe only European
Innovation
Council
yes,
between
pilot,
inverted commas, and you should be able to go there. So I would say, to finish with Ramona, keep in mind, if someone was looking for a European DARPA, here it is. European Innovation Council, the new European DARPA, and now you tweet it. So let's move to the next speaker, Mrs. Bartels from DG Grow, who is going to talk about the COSME program. Let's see if it is so revolutionary like our colleagues from DG Research.
Okay, yeah. So the COSME program, while Ramona has talked about innovation, disruptive innovation, being able to apply directly for funding in Brussels, I will now try to explain to you how the COSME program works. So the COSME program is dedicated to SMEs in general, and we see startups as a subset of the overall SME population. We know that we carry out regular surveys together with the European Central Bank, and we know that SMEs face particular difficulties when accessing finance when compared to larger companies. So the objectives of the financial instruments that we have in the COSME program are to enable access to finance for those SMEs that would normally struggle. So how does that work in practice? It's very different from what Ramona described. You do not go to Brussels. In the case of access to finance through financial instruments, we actually work with the financial intermediaries in the different member states of the Union. And so I will take that question up front. Where do you find it? You can also Google it. So what do you Google here? You Google access to EU finance. And what you find when you Google that page is basically a map of Europe, and you will click on the country where you're located, where you would want to obtain the financing, whether it be debt or equity, and then you would see who are the financial intermediaries in those countries that participate to our program. What do we tell financial intermediaries when they come to us and say, you know, how can we interact with you? We usually say, well, we know you have sort of a risk comfort zone, the type of financing you normally would provide to SMEs or to startups. And then they would say, yeah, well, we either finance them or, well, if we finance them with very tough conditions, very often we hear that there are very high collateral requirements. So we tell the financial intermediaries, well, what are you prepared to do differently? Where are you prepared to take higher risk under our European guarantees? And we actually strongly encourage them to consider startups. And we actually do have as an example, a financial intermediary here in Romania, Raiffeisenbank Romania, they have set up a dedicated product just for startup companies. So it's a normal loan product. You go and you apply, but they will actually talk to you despite the fact that you're a startup and that you probably have very little collateral, if anything at all, and you also will not have a financial history. UniCredit, no, Raiffeisen even has gone as far as to create a startup competition, and you will see it's something that is still open at the moment. I think the closing deadline for this year's startup competition under COSME is the 31st of March, where you can actually sort of win a loan. So it's something repayable, yeah, but it's a loan where you basically do not have to pledge any collateral, and it's long-term financing and so on. I think last year they did the first round of this competition, and this year they are looking to finance up to 100 startups. So these opportunities exist. They also
This competition is only for Romania, it's a European one?
It's only done here in Romania, but I mean, see, we tell the financial intermediaries, where do you believe that in your particular market you see a gap, which also means are there already other public support programs? And so it very much differs by the different European countries. So we have some countries where there are dedicated startup products. Then we have countries where financial intermediaries say, well, thanks to COSME, I'm now putting on long-term loans up to 10 years with very low collateral requirements. So it very much depends. That's why I would invite you.
It certainly looks like in Romania they are doing also kind of revolution, giving loans based on a competition, a startup competition. So
yes, so I mean, I love the
Europe
Romanian example because we don't necessarily have that in all the member states. We have in some member states that people say, I will concentrate on passing on the company, you know, succession, because that's another area that very often doesn't get financed. But here in Romania, we actually do have a live example for someone looking particularly after startups. And also, when they provide these financing, they also try to provide some ecosystem services, guidance for these entrepreneurs that embark on creating their business.
So this looks quite revolutionary. Be ready, the people from Romania, to tell us your feedback about your interaction with this Banca Transilvania, you said, no?
No.
No? What is the name of the bank?
It's Raiffeisen here.
What is the name of the bank?
It's Raiffeisen. I think their competition is called Raiffeisen Factory.
I mean,
I usually do not advertise that much for...
No, the questions will come later. Let's listen first to all the panelists, but please be ready, because in Sofia, in Bulgaria, we did the same thing, and then we got a lot of very negative feedback from the audience about how it works. So this is what we want. We want to hear from you, because of course everything we get from the banks is wonderful. So we want to hear from you if it is really working or it's not working. So Laurent, the floor is yours. What is the European Institute of Innovation and Technology is doing?
So thank you, Isidro. And I would probably just explain in simple terms what the EIT is. It's first of all
how to get it.
Yeah, and of course concrete steps for, again, startups, but also we are looking for partners in university research centers, companies, large companies, because we are really about community. So we have built over the last 10 years the largest set of innovation ecosystems in Europe. We have 8 of them. They are built around societal challenges like sustainable energy, food, health, anything that is really critical for European citizens. These European ecosystems are composed of leading universities, research centers, companies, of big companies, but also small, medium-sized companies. And they come together through our funding to really bring products, services on the market, create new companies, spin-off, spin-out. So we don't fund research, we really fund the last mile to the market. And we've been pretty successful. I mean, I invite you to visit the EU Commission booth after the presentation. We have our fact sheet there. We have a lot of success stories. We're present in all the countries around Europe. Our network has more than 60 offices, so that's one way for startups, but also partners, to approach us, is through the local offices. Of course, we're very visible also on internet, social media, Twitter, our own websites. This is where all of our calls are published. So when we call for innovation partners, startups, scale-ups, you can find us. Usually it's open for a limited period of time, and then you get into the community. So, you know, this is our approach. when you as an innovator or an entrepreneur, you join the EIT community is, of course, to get funding and support for your first, let's say, steps, depending on where you are in your development. You could be early stage, but you can also be a scale-up that need to get to the next level, meaning Series A, Series B. We are connected to investors across Europe, both the angels, the VCs. We're also connected to other part of the Commission, and we are starting to work already with the EIC pilots and with some of our innovation committees to offer more opportunities to the startups that are in our network, and also for entrepreneurs and innovators that will be accelerated by the EIC to
If
come
I
to us
understand
for the next
well,
steps.
you, Lauren, you not only have direct support to the startups and ecosystems, but you can also act as a gateway to have access to other funds of the Commission.
And indeed, and also in our own innovation communities. So for a startup, funding, of course, is important. But if you want to test your product, if you want to access corporates, we have all these corporates in our networks, and they are working with many of our startup and scale-up on a day-to-day basis. We also, recently, we've seen a phenomenon that some of these companies are acquired by the corporates in our innovation ecosystem for not just the technology, but also the teams to bring them to the next level. So this is happening. You know, I can name many, many examples. So in Romania, so not only we focus on the traditional, most innovative countries in Europe, but also we have a dedicated program for all the modest to moderate innovators, such as Romania, to really build the ecosystems here. So we have a dedicated amount of money every year that goes to supporting organizations in these markets that can develop the local entrepreneurial and innovation ecosystems. And it's happening in Romania, and actually in Romania it's doubling almost every year in terms of funding, in terms of activities, in terms of companies that are being accelerated here. And then immediately by joining a program of EIT in Romania, you have access to the entire network. If you want to, if you're looking for customers in other countries, if you're looking for funding, you can get it through the EIT network.
And where do they find that? Where is the website where they
Well,
can find?
every innovation community has its own website. So there's EIT Digital, EIT InnoEnergy, EIT Raw Materials, EIT Health, EIT Urban Mobility, EIT Manufacturing.
Is there a one-stop shop?
You go to EIT website, eit.europa.eu, and then there you have all the links to the direct communities. And also again, I mean, this is a session for startups, but we really see this as a whole community. So we have many partners, research institute, corporations, not just startups. So when you go to the EIT website, depending on who you are, you can navigate yourself to the services we offer for your needs. And then we have a lot of local people. So the network has, I would say, roughly maybe 1,000 of EIT staff, or indirect, but across Europe. So these people are in all of your communities, and you can approach them, and you can join the EIT community for the long run. So we really see this as a first entrance into a more long run kind of opportunity.
Thank you, Lauren. So before moving to that side, asking for questions, I will hand now my panelist hat, and we'll talk about a very specific opportunity for you from one service of the Commission, and is about the next generation internet. Is the website where you can find all the information is ngi.eu, so easy to memorize and to Google, ngi.eu, and then you can apply for grants. These are grants. This is not so advanced like in the case of the European Innovation Council. These are grants between 5,000 euros to 200,000 euros. And the beauty of the program and the innovation here is that the evaluation is not managed by the European Commission. It's managed by private organizations that they are not banks, they are not financial institutions, they are accelerators and other intermediaries from the ecosystem of startups, so people like the ones who are here, and you have to convince them in order to get the money. So no bureaucracy, no, very easy to get the money. This is the bureaucratic wording for this is cascading funding, but you don't care about that. You just go to ngi.eu, you see the different opportunities, you apply for that. It's not a huge amount of money as our colleagues in the EIC has, but it's also it's something that can be helpful at the start with 5,000 euros or up to 200,000 euros to go into a proofing model. And with this, I would like to give the floor, to tell you that all these opportunities are in the startup-europe.eu, is what we call the one-stop shop for startups in Europe, where is all the different opportunities and others who are not here. There is also a specific program for space technology startups. So all the information, Copernicus, Galileo, etc. So all the information is in the startup-europe.club.eu. You can go there and see all the opportunities there. So going to you, I see already there is a question here. So I would like to hear from the people from the Romania how the COSME program is actually working. So, but let's start with the first two questions here. So, we have a mic.
Thanks.
So be brief in the question.
Yes, of course.
We will try to be brief in the answers.
My name is Juan Revuelta from Finnova. My question is not about subsidies, but about these other financial tools you are explaining. We have a concrete project financed from other general direction, is the DG Regio, with the program Interreg, a big project. We are talking of 25 million euros, is starting now, Portugal, Spain, to launch the first vertical accelerator fighting against fires. That is a quite important challenge. The problem, there is an incubator accelerator in Sevilla for 1 million euros. The problem they have to finance that is the government of Andalusia, also Portugal, and a lot of quite interesting entities. The concrete question is they have a subsidy that is right, 75%, but the problem, because of bureaucracy or whatever, the first payment from the DG Regio will be 18 months after. Then, could be possible to ask for a loan to, not a subsidy, to finance this creation?
No,
I had to say, Juan, that the DG Regio was invited to come here. They couldn't come in the last minute, so that's why maybe you saw the name in the website. So I don't know if you asked to to answer the
on
question.
this question, usually, I mean, our the condition is that whoever applies has to be an SME. So if you are, and you need to have a financial intermediary in that particular country servicing it. In Spain, there are numerous financial intermediaries that are like guarantee institutions that help you out with guarantees so that banks will do the funding. But it all depends on if that you can really show you're an SME at the time of financing. And because then the end decision to grant the financing, we always leave with the financial institution. It's something where we wouldn't interfere, so that needs to then be checked locally.
So look at the small letters, and one of them is when you will get the money from your work, because I will tell the case of a person from Finland, a startup, who they signed a contract for the Commission with for 2 years. It's a collaborative project with other partners. They did the job in the first 2 or 3 months, and they were not going to get the money until 1 year later. And they have a huge, huge problem because a startup cannot finance themselves this amount of work. So be always aware of the instrument that you're applying, because as you see, there are many different instruments, and look always to the small details like this one, no? Time to payment of the work that done. Normally in the Commission there is pre-financing, but I think in this particular instrument that doesn't apply.
Interreg, no. It's
DG
18 months
Regio,
later.
there are many different instruments in the Commission. And as I said, I think none of us is in the condition to answer correctly that particular question from another service of the Commission. Sorry, Juan. Another question there, just behind you.
Thank you. My question is for Ramona Samson. It's great how you change the approach. Still, a lot of problems, for example, in Romania, it's about the compliance regulation first. Secondly, what you have presented, it's somewhere very far away to get the information. We are a couple of 10 or 100 of people here, but the information you are trying to provide us, it's in interest of a lot, maybe million of Romanians. We do not get this kind of information. We get information about Regio and 2 or 3 other programs, nothing else.
Yes, I'm very aware of this because the feedback I get, I'm Romanian myself, so the feedback I get is that, wow, this is extremely exciting, we've never heard of it. I don't know what happens because in most member states we have and we pay national contact points to actually be the multiplier of us, and they are locally. And for Romania, if you just type on Google national contact points, you will see that every single region, even Cluj, has several national contact points depending on the sector, okay? So you will have the contact person with the telephone, email, everything, okay? The feedback I get is that it doesn't really work, okay? It works in Denmark, it works in France, Germany, all over the place, but not here. So because it's Romanian presidency, and because we have realized that there was this information gap, in Bucharest between 19th and 21st of June, we will organize a 3-day conference dedicated to the European Innovation Council. One day, the first day, will be dedicated to the Pathfinder, okay? So it's fundamental, you know, research with where you have really the idea, okay? This is one day. The second day will be on the accelerator, okay? You can choose which day you want. And the third day would be on the financial instruments, okay? Where my colleague Astrid will be there, the EIB, the European Investment Bank, and the fund, they will be there because they are our partners in implementing this special purpose vehicle, the equity part. I also talked to some of the participants yesterday, and we agreed that we really have to do something, you know, in Cluj again. So, you know, a 3 hours expert workshop with you, you know, in Timișoara, in Iași, in Bucharest, in Brașov, where we really get you, you know, on stage, telling us what are your questions, how to apply, and we'll bring people from, my colleagues from the executive agency, the ones that are implementing and receiving the proposal, okay? To explain you again, to give you tips and how. So look at it as an opportunity. We try to do it as soon as possible before the 5th of June, which is the deadline for the first call with grants plus equity. So I really hope, I see the people I talk to that who volunteer to do this for free, you know, for you in the next couple of weeks. I really hope that we can distribute this information through your network and on your website, and that you will be able to come free of charge, because this is another topic. Whenever, sometimes I get invited to all these events, not in Romania, but other countries, where the entry fee to such a conference or event is huge. No startup, you know, in Romania would be able to pay that fee. And, you know, we're willing, I'm willing to do that for free. So you get the information, because this is obviously power. Information today is power. And I'm sure that I've seen so many talented innovators and startups these 2 days in Cluj that I cannot believe that when you look at the statistics, in the last 4 years, we had the SME instrument, we had the other instruments, you know, there are only 4 Romanian startups. And why is that? Not because you don't have talent, not because you don't have great ideas, not because you're not ambitious enough, and you know, it's because you don't have the information. So we'll have to change that.
Okay, so it seems like someone is not doing the work they were supposed to do, but here is the Commission with the agency stepping up and trying to solve that problem. So we have there another question.
Hello, my name is Katrina Sabachag. I'm a designer and visual artist. And I have 2 questions actually. The first one is, if I've applied already and received a European grant through our government, say like Startup Nation or Startup Plus, can you still apply for the 2 ones? So the question is for Astrid and Samson, and Ramona. And the second question is, what are the financial constraints? I mean, do you have to give part of the money back, or do they have a share of the company afterwards, after you make a profit, or what are the financial constraints? Thank you.
I'll take the first part of the question, because I actually have a flight in less than 1 hour, so I really have to go. But, well, so the grants, you know, you get it, we'll never get it back, okay? It's up to 2.5 million, so that's the grant. Of course you have deliverables, of course you have milestones, okay? This is public money. We will never fund something which we don't get anything in return. But the problem we've seen with grants is that once the project finishes, after 3 years, we never hear anything more, you know? We don't know if that idea never, you know, ever got to the market, we don't know why it didn't happen, and so on. So this is why, in the accelerator part, we will combine grants plus equity. And the equity, of course, in order for you to get equity from us, the Commission will invest in your company, okay, money, cash, okay? Obviously, what we will be trying to do is that because we guarantee for your failure, so we are the first one to lose the money. If the project and the startup goes bankrupt, we are the first one to lose 100% of our money. But because of that, or thanks to that, we hope that there will be investors, willing to co-invest with us, okay, in your project, in your startup. And we will keep that equity. We have this patient capital, okay? We're ready to go up to 10 years if it's biotech or medical sector, okay? Less so in your sector, probably, because you get quicker results and products and so on. And then we'll get out. As soon as there's an investor who is willing to buy our shares, we out. Because the ultimate objective is not to make profit, okay? Our objective is not to make profit. Okay, why? Because we do this for the public good. We do this because we've seen that startups, in particular in Central and Eastern Europe, there's this valley of death. So once they have, used all the money, the personal money, the friends, the family money, no bank. And we are looking for non-bankable. One criteria to get the equity from us is that you need to prove that you are non-bankable, that no bank will give you a loan, okay? You need to prove that you have a risky idea. And this is why you don't get any loan or anything from the bank. And the third one is, of course, you need to be ambitious, okay? And it has to disrupt a bit the market and the innovation.
So they say, as you see in the European Innovation Council, the European DARPA, there are more disruptive innovations than the ones you mentioned at the beginning, like this one. This is the Israeli model in which the public gets equity to encourage the private investors to get also into the company, with the guarantee that if there is a loss, the first one losing 100% will be the government, the Israeli government in Israel, and in this case will be the European Commission. Usually there's a lot of disruptive innovations that maybe are not so well known, not even in the Commission, so that we need to ensure that the people know, so that they see that this is, if someone is looking for a European DARPA, the answer is here. And then let's go to Astrid for the second part of the question.
Yeah, but perhaps before Astrid takes over, I just want to thank you for the enthusiasm and the motivation and so on. And do write to whatever email you have, is Israel, okay, the organizers, to get the links I told you about, and my email address, okay?
Can I tell your email address?
Absolutely, yes.
So the email address of the European Commission officers is very easy. I will say only to Ramona, but you can guess for the others, is Ramona.Samson, so first name, dot family name, and there's at ec.europa.eu. EC stands for European Commission, ec.europa.eu. So this is, I only say the one of Ramona.
Exactly, perfect. So this is not the end of the story. Do contact me, okay? I'll answer your questions, and I will let you know as soon as we have put in place those events, which are will go a bit more in detail on.
Thank you, Ramona, for being with us. And now, Raj. So let's continue, Astrid.
Yeah, so on the loans that we were talking about, that we counter guarantee. So obviously there is no such thing as you giving up stakes, because it's just a normal loan you take out from a bank at banking conditions, and so there's no way that we would ever be asking for equity. We do also have, under our COSME program, an equity facility, but that is predominantly focused on investing in funds that then in turn will invest in companies at the expansion and growth stage. And I have to admit, at this point in time, we do not yet have a financial intermediary that would be covering Romania. I think there's something in the pipeline, so I'm quite hopeful for not only Romania, but this region in general, but it's nothing that I could divulge publicly at this point in time. So this is why, for the time being, we are more looking to the debt financing side.
There are more questions. Lauren, you wanted to add something?
No, I just wanted to say that for our innovation communities, some of them do take equity because they also need to be financially sustainable in the long term. So this is for them a way to return some money into their programs for the long term, because EIT only finances them for either 7 to 15 years. Also the fact, again, I mentioned it, but we are very connected to all sort of investors, again, private investors, angels, VCs, that have invested now over €1 billion in the companies that the EIT has invested, has supported the last 10 years. So we know how to close big private investment round for innovative startups. So it's not for all of you, obviously it depends on the sector, depends on the scale, but we've done that, and it's increasing in terms of the capacity we have to help these innovative startups to get really large financing rounds across Europe. Any?
I just want to wow, really complicated name. As he was saying so quickly, expecting me for me to understand. So, has anyone here from Romania tried to go to the
Raiffeisen,
whatever is pronounced, and trying to get a loan within this startup instrument that they have financed by the European Commission? Has any one of you tried? Did you know that it exists?
I've been involved last year in valuation of the projects for the west part of the country. So I know about it, but I haven't been on the submission side, but on valuation side.
And any feedback that you can share with us? For us, it's a unique opportunity to talk to you and not to talk to the bank. So.
Okay. There were interesting entrepreneurs, but some of them they lack a lot in understanding what they want, what is their market, and so on. So good and bad. So
and, yeah. And from the side from the bank, did it give you flexibility, freedom to choose the ones you wanted, or did you have a lot of constraints?
Actually, I was involved in the interview. I was not involved in choosing. I told them my opinion about the projects that were presented, but I was not very much in control of choosing the projects.
Okay, and then we have there another.
Hello, my name is Diana. I'm a networker and community builder. Startup Grind Chapter Cluj-Napoca is one of the community I'm taking care of. I've heard about the Raiffeisen Factory. I tried to submit an idea there, but it was a mood killer. All the long text and all the form wasn't friendly at all.
Can you repeat? I didn't get it either, so I thought that was the only one. Can you repeat it, please?
I heard about the program. I knew it's called Raiffeisen Factory. On a personal level, I tried to complete an idea, to submit an idea there, but it was very non-friendly, the firm.
The application
it was
form?
A mood killer, so really long text, a lot of boxes to complete. Yeah.
So the application form was not a startup
It was
friendly.
like, yeah, it was like applying for a credit.
Maybe you agree, yeah?
Hello, my name is Catalin. I want to give you another example to share with you as a feedback. My wife called, I think, even Raiffeisen, but for another project. It was something like women and entrepreneurship. It was promoted in that days in the mass media. And when she called to Raiffeisen in Timișoara, the lady that she was in contact, she said that she never heard about such projects. And she said, okay, let me to check to see and so on. So he never come back with another feedback. The main issue is that what you agree on top of level, even with entity like Raiffeisen, but it's not the issue of Raiffeisen, but generally I think it's this issue, is not going down to the population. And it's a very close feedback, as the colleague said that your information is not accessible for us.
Is it all? I can maybe. Is it all? Do you mind if
Laura?
I? Yeah. So on this is why the EIT is now really on the whole value chain. So we are in all the countries in Europe. We are in partnering with all the universities, because it starts really early to build the awareness among citizens that these programs exist. So we have support for students. Then we take these students into local accelerators under the EIT community, and then I think to your question, to of course get loans for your business, but I think we believe in more financing the growth of your business through getting customers inside our community, to working with existing larger companies that can help you test your products, get you technology at a rebate, and so on. This is how our companies are growing. And in every country, for example, in Romania, we have local hubs, and we have somebody here, Ion, who's the kind of representative for EIT Health in Romania, and he can help you answer any question you have, get you directly to the program that we have, either if you're early stage, more mature company, or if you're a researcher and you want to get your innovation to the market. We have these people like I said, more than 1,000 people now across Europe that are in your communities in most countries in Europe. And also we have a large EIT alumni community, sorry for forgetting this. So now we have more than 7,000 alumni across Europe, and these are also good relays for information to get you the information you need to get into our program. So we rely a lot on our alumni.
Another question there?
Okay, I don't have a question. I just want to answer your provocation, because I just feel the I don't know, like 20 something fields for EET food competition, which finished in 15th of March. The thing is, you have like 5 hubs where you have to be there in person, and the hubs are in Geneva, in Berlin, so there's nothing in Eastern Europe, for instance. That's one thing. The financing is not so great. If you're going to stay in Switzerland, you're gonna be bankrupt using the money that you're giving, but and you have to give equity for this. The only thing that you can get in as a plus is the networking. You're going there because you might need partnerships or someone to help you get to the market. But otherwise, if there's not some local hub for you, so in your field, I don't think it's a really great idea if you're just giving €50,000 or something.
You are talking in particular about the EIT.
EIT food.
Again,
food,
on
yes.
this one, food is a very recent one, so it doesn't have the coverage yet across Europe. Only has these, indeed, 5 main offices, and that's a limitation. But if we take example of EIT Digital or EIT Energy or even EIT Health, that is a bit older, they have a better coverage. And I think, in your experience may not be as perfect as you expected, but I think we do better with many entrepreneurs. Of course, our programs are not for every entrepreneur, so you have to have a certain level of already advanced with your product, your service, and I think what you said is right. I mean, you go to us for the networking part, so you have to also be willing to work with partners inside our community.
The good thing that Lauren is from the headquarters, from the EIT. I mean, the bosses of all these other ones, including the food. So I think the feedback is still useful to make it better.
We can do better, I'm sure, and come to me afterwards. I can help you maybe in your field.
And by the way, I found out through an American company, because it's called Mass Challenge. They are spreading like emails like crazy. I got 3 emails from 3 different people to join that program.
Yeah, it's a partner of ours as well. Climate Kick uses Mass Challenge. Mass Challenge is an accelerator globally, and they do program with other
so it's
people
just
like
a chance that I found out about the program.
That's good.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions? That's a comment about the. You see, wait, there are no more questions. Maybe a few final words from ladies first. Astrid.
No, so what can I say? I mean, I can only encourage you to, go and look for information. So I hope today was a good event to kickstart the idea that you should go out and look. There are usually web portals for everything. We try to make information as accessible as possible. We also really try hard to come to the different member states, to go to events. The email address of Ramona has been volunteered, but you're also very welcome to email me directly with any type of questions you may have, and that is not only startup financing, but financing in general, at different types of the lifetime of a particular company. Because I think it may look very far as if we in Brussels are sitting in an ivory tower. But please trust me when I say we really have the end customer in mind. We always try to improve our services. Are things perfect? No, they certainly are not. But I think we're really striving every day to make things better and to improve them.
Yeah, I can only echo this. I mean, we have, we are are not in Brussels ourselves, so we are actually on territory across EU 28, many offices, many, again, more than 1,000 people working for us to help you get your innovation on the market, or to maybe scale really significantly your startup to a European level or even a world stage level, because we've done that, and it's very important for Europe to do that.
You are also in Silicon Valley, right?
So we have an office in Silicon Valley, combined office that represents several of our innovation communities, and also we are now slightly, slowly going to, for example, Israel and China, and so to help, if you're in that situation that you're trying to go international, we can help you with that as well. And final word, I will invite you to visit the European Commission booth just outside the door. Then we have our brochures there, and you can come to me. Again, I'm available for any questions you may have.
So I think you have getting very clear messages back home. First is that now we have a European DARPA, the European Innovation Council. Second, that there is a huge amount of opportunities out there that you should get access to that you should Google for looking for that. You have got very good hints about where to look. Third, the power of the network, thanks to the EIT, not only Europe, you said also outside. Of course, the power of the network of Startup Europe is always there for you, and the one-stop shop, Startup Europe Club, is also there for you. So without more delays, I just want to thank our panelists for their insights, and to all of you for being here, and we can go outside and having lunch and continue networking. Thank you to all of you.